Spartacus, a Thracian warrior who was captured by Romans and became a legendary gladiator and enemy of Rome. Who knows his true story? Probably no one. But here are 3 interpretations of it as told through TV and movies. In order of release, the first version we're looking at is Spartacus. This is a film that came out in 1960, based loosely on Howard Fast's 1951 novel and one of my mother's favorite movies. Script. This earned its reputation as one of the top American classics. You would think a movie about a gladiator rebel would mean at least 80% of it is fighting, but actually, it's more emotional and introspective. It asks questions about human nature and morality. Surprisingly, the tone of the whole first part is more romantic. Yes, Spartacus is learning how to be a gladiator, but really the emphasis is on eye flirting with Verinia. Then we spend a lot of time following Roman politics and different people's individual struggles. Make sure you have tissues ready. Acting. The cast is excellent. Spartacus is played by Kirk Douglas, who's a very innocent, almost wistful sort of Spartacus. Tony Curtis, as one of the slaves Antonius, was also fantastic. I think this was my favorite version of the Roman general Crassus, who came off as very proud and cunning, but conflicted. Sex and nudity, violence and gore. No sex and only the barest hint of nudity. There is fighting, but again, not the focus. There are very few gladiatorial fights, and when we do see fighting, it never feels very violent by today's standards. Any blood we do see looks more like paint. There are body piles, but never a moment I had to cringe and look away. It's 197 minutes long, rated 13+. Next up, Spartacus. This is the miniseries from 2004, based on the same book by Howard Fast. Has anyone else actually seen this one? Script. Even though this is based on the same book as the 1960 version, it's a very different script. Yes, the general story follows the same path, but the interpretations of the characters and how they are presented are very different. The story is being told and narrated by Verinia. There is very little romance at the beginning. In fact, it kind of feels rushed. Some time is spent learning about the different gladiators, which are different characters from the 60s version. Throw in some early 2000s style girl power. It also has a completely different, a bit less tear-jerker ending. Acting. This Spartacus was good, but he didn't stand out like the others. His struggle had more of a generic vibe of, crap, these people are depending on me, what do I do? And I honestly was not a fan of this Crassus, who just kind of whined a lot. What this did have was some amazing supporting roles, such as the gladiator David by James Frain and Draba by Henry Simmons. Sex and nudity, violence and gore. No sex or nudity at all on screen, but some very obvious non-consensual relations happening off-screen. A lot more fighting, though it was sometimes hard to see since most of it was shot super close up. A little time went into explaining battle tactics and strategy. Much more realistic blood and gore, but never so bad that I had to look away. It's 171 minutes long, unrated, but I'd say somewhere around 15+. Which brings us to our last version of Spartacus. This is the 2010 television series, not based on anything but people's imaginations and maybe a hint of history. Script. Here we take a complete 180 away from our last 2 and focus on the drama, sex, and most gory fighting I have ever seen, but I'll talk about that later. All of our characters go through emotional whiplash. We are following the soap opera of multiple characters, and then watch how they continuously try to kill each other, or at least make each other miserable. Ancient times, days of our lives. But don't worry, they still have time for a slave uprising against Rome. Acting. 2 actors played Spartacus, the first being Andy Whitfield, who very sadly passed away after the first season, and then Liam McIntyre. This Spartacus is full of vengeance. He will do anything and kill anyone to get his revenge. I pretty much love or love to hate everyone in this cast, including the whole reason I watched this when it first came out. Lucy Lawless as Lucretia. Sex and nudity, violence and gore. You think Game of Thrones is the most risque and gory thing you've ever seen? You obviously have not watched this yet. No skin is off limits and no type of sexual relations is missed from the checklist. In every episode, they try to find new and inventive ways to kill people and make it as gruesome as possible. It's 39 hour-long episodes, including 3 seasons and a prequel. Trigger warning for everything. Very, very, very adult only. Final opinion. Spartacus 1960. This is your choice if you want to see classical movie magic in action. Also, if you want the least gory option with an emphasis on romance. Spartacus 2004. I would say this is your choice if you're not into older movies, but also don't want to watch something insanely violent and sexual for 4 seasons. Spartacus 2010. This is for those of you who are crying out for that manly gladiatorial display of pulling each other's guts out, or thrive on watching people stab each other in the back, both literally and figuratively on an everyday basis. Or it has Lucy Lawless, and that's all that matters. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out my playlists for more movie and TV comparisons and how to watch historical media in chronological order. Happy watching!